I had an amazing job because I was one of the early directors of Macquarie Bank, and we were growing at 1 million miles an hour, right? So,
if people respond to you, you know you must be doing something right. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if they're not responding to you, I need to soften.
Just thoughts jumping around, and my emotions were just dictated based on my thoughts. Like I believed the next thought was me, right?
Our relationship with our ego in our modern time is something that needs to be tamed.
quick, Angela! Jeez, let me out.
It'd be cool if George did an intro with none of us there yet, just to start off the pod.
Cameras are all set up.
We're meditating, right?
It's good to go.
Yeah, settling in to physical stillness, opening your eyes.
Do you mind passing my phone? Just quickly tell it.
Well, yeah, thank you all for being here, and thank you for having me to mediate this discussion between two generations of people, of groups of people who I feel are aligned in some ways and definitely have different opinions around the same topics too, which I think can lead to great discussions and great learning for all involved. So I thought we'd start off by maybe each participant sort of speaking a little bit on their personal practice in meditation or mindfulness, and I guess a bit of when they started, if they still practice, and I guess the main reason why the practice or mindfulness appeared to them. So please, maybe Nelson, you can begin.
Love to. Thank you, George. And thank you for being here, George. Thank you, Tim and Rob, for being here as well. Mindfulness and I guess meditation, my practice now, I'm a morning meditator. Basically every morning, if I want to have a good day, so morning meditation. I'm also a big fan of breathwork, and I play around with a few breathwork techniques in the mornings. And then whenever I need, I will have a meditation if I'm especially anxious and have an especially crazy day in my brain. I guess this practice found me, because I've always been a very anxious person, and I've always had like a nugget of fear inside me that is just like spread throughout my brain, and that comes with neuroses, and that comes with always thinking and overthinking, and I lived with that for so long and not knowing how to train my mind and wrangle the thoughts in my mind. And through mindfulness and through reading great spiritual teachers, we got Tim's wife here.
Time, pause, guys, sorry. Quickly, just call out to her for me. Just call out, say, Angela. Quick, Angela! Jeez, let me out.
So I study non-dual Shiva Tantra.
Okay.
So, my perspective is more about plurality from oneness,
right.
But awareness and looking at something through a mind without words. So catching that split second. I look forward to watching on YouTube.
Thank you, Angela.
Shall I pick up where we left off?
Yeah.
Ben, is my camera recording now?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Awesome.
I guess I had some nice time there to let that sit and think, but I guess I began with mindfulness, which led into a spiritual journey. And I realized that the mind was deeper than what I had investigated, and that it needs to be trained. There has to be some type of practice surrounding it. There has to be some type of discipline, and that is all attached to the spiritual nature of our world. And we are humans having a spiritual experience. So that sunk in with me, and I haven't let it go since. And I believe it is the stuff, exploring your own inner nature, being able to know thyself and know how your mind works, what consciousness is, and what we are experiencing. And that comes with practice. So a little bit of practice, and I hope it bleeds into my daily life. So that's me, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Did you have anything on the back of that? Any questions?
Well, no, I love that. I love that share, because to me that's exactly what it's in the end, kind of where it all leads to, is consciousness really. And for me anyway, it's about, because I started early too, and about your age, I had an amazing job because I was one of the early directors of Macquarie Bank, and we were growing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, right? So I was getting really anxious because not only was I in charge of trading at the age of 26, I was in charge of all their finances, the treasury. We had to balance every day. We only had a small capital of fund, like 20 million bucks, and we had to balance our books every night. And it was so much anxiety. You know, as a 26-year-old, it was too much really. And I had a team all around the world. I had about 20 or 30 guys, men and women all around the world, doing stuff that could impact on us. So it was a huge amount of pressure. And somebody said, why don't you take meditation up? So I did. But I went down a whole journey down through Buddhist meditation, which is, you know, pretty severe. Some of the Buddhists are very severe, you know. I don't know if you've experienced it. Like you have to sometimes face a wall and you're not allowed to move, and you get whipped if you even move, you know, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty severe, isn't it?
It is. I mean, that's some of those Zen schools are very black and white, and it's a simple teaching, but powerful ramifications.
But it didn't work for me after a while because I thought, no, I'm enjoying the actual meditation, but all this other stuff that was going on, I thought, no, too much. And so I went on my own journey with meditation, not so much spirituality, but meditation, just to calm down the nerves and calm down everything. And then later on, in my sort of 30s and 40s, started to realise, oh my gosh, there's so much other reasons to meditate. And I started to explore all sorts of other things in life. But the meditation seemed to be core to so many of them. So I kept on with the practice. I shortened the practice a lot, and I was getting down to sort of 10 or 15 or 20 minutes rather than sort of half an hour to an hour, because I just didn't have time in the day. And so it kind of worked for me too when people would say, you know, meditation can be that state you can get to in seconds by following your breath and just taking it slow. Well, it's a meditation of sorts. It's only a micro meditation, but it's a meditation. Depends how you define meditation.
There's meditation in so many things. You can be walking down the road and meditating. It's accessible.
Exactly.
I think we've spoken about before, like all these things we're learning, it's already there.
That's it. And we're following the pathways of teachers that have been around for thousands and thousands of years. My wife and I have met with a spiritual master. She met him when we met 40 odd years ago. We met 25 years ago. But my wife, who you'll end up maybe meeting, or you have met briefly, but met our spiritual teacher, our guru. I don't like these terms much because everyone starts to put their own label. It's like if I said, I believe in God, everyone straight away says, and so labels are really hard with meditation.
Definitely.
Don't you think? And so, but our spiritual supervisor, can I say that? Is a woman called Guru Maya from the Siddha Yoga tradition. And it's a very learned tradition that goes back about 300 or 400 years, but it's steeped in a tradition that goes back to early Kashmir Shaivism and so on 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. So it follows on from a lineage of great teachers that we've been lucky enough to, including probably Christ and Buddha and all the greats.
Yeah.
So I'm done. Thank you.
Beautiful. No, well, we can do some vice versa.
And sorry, Tim, do you have a practice currently? Like,
well, it's a bit loose though. I'm meditating 10 or 15 minutes of the morning, and I try and do a 5 to 10 minute one of an evening. I wish I was a bit more rigid with it. I tend to like other things get in the way of a bit, and so sometimes I'll go for 2 or 3 weeks and be really steady, and other times it'll fall off a bit.
And do you typically do guided or unguided meditations?
Unguided mainly.
Yeah.
Because my mind's really busy, I studied the Enneagram. I don't know if you guys know the spiritual tradition of the Enneagram.
I don't, yeah.
I won't go into that, but I've got monkey mind. Yeah. I've got an ability to quickly see things and to jump around like that. Yeah. So in meditation, my mind's doing that.
Yeah.
And so I find that some of the things that really help with that is my own mantra, which is Om Namah Shivaya. I honour my inner self. I mean, every mantra is good, I think. Om Namah Shivaya is a fairly well-known one in this tradition. And I've noticed what it does is it really slows down my thinking, and I go, okay, thanks thoughts, thank you thoughts, thank you. And I keep on coming back to the mantra and keep on coming back to the breath to rest, so I can actually tame the monkey mind.
Love that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Feel like, Ned, if you'd like to share?
Yeah. I also have a monkey mind.
We all do.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you, but we all do.
This thing is crazy.
That's life.
I think that was my entry into mindfulness around 2019, was just thoughts jumping around, and my emotions were just dictated based on my thoughts. Like, I believed the next thought was me, right? And I was just fed up of being thrown around about whatever entered my head. And I was listening to a guy called Sam Harris, and he had this meditation app. Well, he prescribed meditation as a way to deal with that, so that's how I kind of got into it and established a daily practice, which has evolved now into, I try to do 20, 30 minutes in the morning. I use an app called The Way, or I do unguided spontaneously, just sit there. And it has evolved into kind of non-dual, just resting and just taking in sounds and feelings. And I guess how it's evolved in my day-to-day when I'm not meditating is just those moments where you can realize your experience right now is sight, sound, feeling, and being more aware of the thoughts coming in. But yeah, it's been fascinating from a mental health perspective and just a lifestyle perspective. Even if you don't, regardless of whether you believe it's oneness in the universe, just from once you look at things experientially, moment to moment, it does really slow you down and pull you in to that kind of present moment. So my kind of experience and practice of it, yeah.
Thank you. I feel like a lot of us can resonate with quite a few things said there. So, yeah. And Rob?
Yeah, right. I was just having a rethink about my life, actually. I'm a bit of a lax meditator. Haven't done it for quite a while, but I used to do it a fair bit. I suppose I can see now with a lot of mental health problems that it's going to be very important for people. And I sort of think back when I first started, and I can see how people give themselves a fair bit of grief. And I think for me, I was pretty disappointed with my life up till the age of 40. And I think it was all around, a lot of judgment and harsh judgment around myself. And I was put onto a few books, and it all started from there. And I started slowly doing some practices. But it's funny because I actually, when I did meditate, I used to meditate to music, with music. And I just remember I had a favourite album, which was by Van Morrison, and it was called Enlightenment. And there was a track in that, was Start All Over Again.
Right.
And I thought, wow. And I used to think about the principle of starting all over again from a new day. I could start the whole thing, and I thought, how amazing would that be if I could do that, And so it was sort of like stripping away everything. But as I kept studying and reading, have you ever read Jonathan Livingston Seagull?
Yes.
But
Love that.
but it was a book about the idea of creating the perfect flight and the idea of, like, if I could create a perfect life. But again, as we read further, you start to realise that my ego has got me to this position, and so all to do with conditioned mind from the past, and now I'm wanting my mind to decide the future. So it's like this crazy mind, and now I'm wanting to do this next thing, So it was like having to get out of that to start like afresh. And I found that a little bit interesting because I sort of had to let go a bit, Yeah.
The practice teaches you that, and I think if judgment was something you were facing, like through simply meditating, you learn that these judgments, these reflections, they're all just other thoughts. And once you stop sort of paying attention to them, that's where that compassion can kind of shine through. And through practices like meditation, you get lost in thought. You don't judge yourself when you come back to that next moment. You just let that go and be self-compassionate. And through self-compassion, compassion to others is born. So, yeah.
I think I was a bit lucky that used to be pretty structured in the morning. I'd get up at about 6 o'clock and I'd meditate for about an hour and a half to this music. But I used to have an A4 bit of paper in front of me, pad, and I had an idea of what I wanted, and I used to think about how I was going to get there, type of thing, you know. So it was like prioritising. I think that was one of the most important things, to prioritise something and have a determination to want to go there.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, someone said to me one day, when you start focusing on something, it expands. And I've found that to be helpful to me. And as I made a few little steps, I started to think, maybe if I went a bit further into this, you know, it could even help further, you know. So that was pretty significant to me, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
And I'm probably, a lot of people are in kinesthetic. I'm sort of into reading, and I read a lot, and I sort of took in a lot more after that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I really like what you said about the new beginnings. Like every moment is a new beginning, and you can like just at any moment release those anchors and be free. I heard a poem talk about it as the everlasting dawn. Like there is a constant dawn going around the world, so there is always a new beginning.
That's what life is, isn't it? It keeps on, every moment changes to the next, to the next.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, yeah, thank you all for sharing your personal practices and personal journeys. I think like talking about your own experiences is such a good way to really show people who aren't involved in the practice, give them something to draw to and really relate to, because people get too caught up. I mean, you spoke a bit about spirituality and taking that first step in meditation before getting there, but spirituality is this term that comes up, but it's really it just means to look inward. And people get too caught up in thinking that there's all these woo-woo and crazy things that come with it, but it's really simple in the end. In terms of questions between you guys to talk about, I believe the main structure of today was for a friendly debate.
Friendly debate. No, see, this is the first I've heard of this. I love a good debate. Okay, so it's a friendly debate, is it?
Yeah, and I have heard that one side may be more humorous than the other in regarding certain things. I believe you guys are the more humorous ones.
Well, not this guy there.
You're a team. You're a team.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a team. Okay.
So I guess it can lead to a question around, do you think that if you're too serious when on this spiritual path, that you're doing it wrong? I'll begin with the humorous people over there.
My first thought when you said that was, straight away there's a judgment in that. And to me, judgments they're not a good thing. And so, right from the word go, I go, oh, that triggers me, because I think, hang on, that's right at my growth edge, because I'm judgmental as well. And that, it insinuates that there is a judgment that you're making, that something's right or wrong. And if you're too serious or you're not serious enough or whatever, no, forget that. My humorous part is I feel it's all a messy mess, and we're all a messy mess. We're human, for Christ's sake, and that means we're a mess. And our thoughts and judgments about ourselves need to be relaxed on ourselves, because how can we possibly live in a community unless we come from love and we're laughter and we're light? That's what love to me is. And so anything opposite of that is shadow, means no light, And so it's just minus the light, and that means judgment and everything else that goes on underneath it. And all we need to do is go strip that away and go, hang on, what's getting in the way of that light, that shadow? Oh, there's the light again. And it's in here. It starts in here. But that's how I see it. But we arm up before these guys yell at us and say, "You're so much full of crap." Would you arm up?
Oh, well, I think, as you say, I think a lot of spiritual discipline is being viewed as serious rather than a relaxed form, and I think that's what's put off a lot of people. Yeah, how to fix that is another thing, but I suppose my concern, is just how we communicate to one another. And as you witness how the response and reaction to things is so quick these days. And hopefully, if we did this meditation, we might slow down in our responses. That's
For sure.
and we have people, like I've been around some people lately where they're snapping at one another, and all of a sudden, the anger coming back is so quick, and you think, wow, why can't we just slow down for a minute, and just watch, be careful how we speak to one another. Like a very simple thing, but it's like just learning how to speak properly to one another seems to be a key to me.
Yeah.
You can go through all these practices, but like if we can't do the practical properly, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's like I was Catholic, and you go to church on Sunday and then do anything you like during the week.
Yeah.
Like you've got to bring it to the day-to-day stuff and how I respond to the next position. And
Well, life is so difficult. Like, how could we be anything but kind? I think like that is such a lost message and something that can really make positive change on the community. So, yeah. And if you've finished, any points around the seriousness of the practice?
I quite liked. I like both your responses, but Tim's point on the light being there and getting rid of kind of the dark stuff to allow that light to shine through. That seemed quite like true. I think it is, and I think back to when I'm quite serious. It's when I'm judging myself, right? And I'm thinking I'm not this or that or kind or funny, or I'm self-conscious, and I'm just preventing. And when I'm relaxed and not self-conscious, like it's much easier to be kind and relaxed and let that light through. So I find them more humorous and lighthearted when I'm not judging myself in that sense. And when I'm more serious and contained, it is when I'm more judgmental. So I found that quite an interesting frame there. But I do think, and to Rob's point, it is easier to communicate mindfulness and meditation, I think, to other people, to the outside world, in a light-hearted, easygoing, more humorous way, right? When it's quite serious and core, it's just not as enticing, I would think. But I think in terms of the practice, I think you can certainly be serious and adopt it and still be on the path. But there is something about the light-hearted, humorous nature that does feel like, to me, really important.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that light-hearted humorousness is aligned with love, and like if you use love as your compass along your spiritual journey, as it should be, like love is the wind in the sail and should steer your ship along this journey. And if you do allow that, then you do see, the humorousness and the lightheartedness and the absurdity of the world as ubiquitous. Everything's absurd. Therefore, there's a bit of cosmic humor that goes on. And if you come from an angle of love, like I feel like you see that stuff. If you don't come from an angle of love, you end up treating it, as more of a serious practice, as a zone for judgment. And align your compass with love. That's all I was thinking that whole time. But I love cosmic humor. It's hilarious. Like you see serendipity. Like I feel like our interaction there with Angela, like that is outstanding. I feel like that is spiritual.
Yeah.
I suppose for me, what I think is off-putting is people seem to want to talk about spirituality seriously. And I think it really pushes a number of buttons with people, and people react the opposite direction to the way you wanted to go. It's almost like you have this idea that I need to say something to someone, you know?
Yeah.
I don't need to say anything.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But I just think I have to. You're supposed to say something. No? Like I think that's one thing that it would be good if we let go of all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's about me. It's not about anybody else.
Yeah.
You know? That principle.
There are many good teachers who are very humorous in their delivery. Like the first that comes to mind is someone like very well known, Joseph Goldstein. Like if you're familiar with his teachings, so he's a Western teacher who has spent a lot of time. He was in the Peace Corps in all through like the Eastern countries sort of thing. And his teaching, some of his recordings, like he takes the piss out of everything. And then coming from a love point of view, you think of like authors and renowned monk like Thich Nhat Hanh, like his teachings are all grounded in love. And the way like they treat, like if you're sitting and meditating and pain comes up, his school is very much, he said love into that pain. And you have other teachings in like traditional like Vipassana teachers where it's about like sort of just becoming at peace with the pain rather than sending love to the pain. And that can really change the vibe, at least, of your sitting in that moment. So, yeah.
I think that seriousness as well is kind of bleeds from the discipline. Like spirituality is rooted in discipline.
Yeah.
And there has to be some type of discipline in there for us to gather the fruits of this beautiful thing, which is spirituality and mindfulness and meditation. And people just take discipline too seriously.
Yeah.
It's just it's something that just makes us rigid.
Yeah.
Do you think we take it too seriously?
Like as in you and me?
Yeah, the discipline of it?
I feel like discipline is like, it is the root of all higher abilities in man. And so I feel like in my life, it's a big part of my life. Discipline's a huge part of my life. It got me many, many places.
Yeah.
It's the balance,
Right.
harmony between the two.
I think anyway.
No, yeah.
One thing that I should point out, that
Please.
you two guys starting off this, like it's very courageous to start something new. And I actually believe, you know, for younger people, it's courageous to start something different to what you've done in the past. If it hasn't worked for you in the past, try something else. And I suppose that's, for me, was interesting. Stop, start. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's like going out by yourself. It's difficult. And then all of a sudden you're on your own and you're challenged. And there's a number of things that come up. And it's worth looking at, everything that comes up, because you've given it space.
Yeah.
And I believe you need to have that space and time to work through things.
Yeah.
We're often on a merry-go-round with our work and all that, where we get up in the morning, we do all the stuff. We never have a chance to think. And if you can have I was lucky, I had plenty of time to do that. But I think I prioritised my day so it didn't start till late in midday, you know. But I made sure I did all the things I wanted to do first, and the work came next. So I would say, you know, it's important to get space and time.
Doing something for yourself in the morning is so important. Whether it's, like for me, it's meditating and then going for a surf before I go to work. And that just means that whatever happens for the rest of that day, I know I had that moment for myself in the morning. And you just feel, more sure of yourself and more sure of the path, which leads into the next question that...
We're not debating yet, are we?
No.
Yeah.
It looks like we're all friends.
Yeah.
But I believe some maybe brief things were mentioned around surrendering yourself to the path or the universe and the practice itself, and at how much should you just trust in the practice or in the path, in that everything will work out the way it's meant to, or do you think that is too loose and unforgiving in an environment like ours?
I'm always a little bit concerned. I'm jumping again.
No, please.
Yeah.
You
Jump.
sure?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm always a bit concerned, especially with young people starting out, that they, if they're not feeling good psychologically within themselves, be careful, because to have a fairly rigid attitude towards meditation, if you're not feeling good within yourself, can actually aggravate the suffering that you may be feeling, and separation or the depression or whatever it is that's going on for you, sadness, a loss. Whatever that is will be extenuated or be accelerated a little bit in meditation, because let's face it, you're just sitting with your own mind, and if your own mind keeps on throwing up nasty thoughts, you're going to keep on getting them. So I would be cautious about any should in terms of a meditation should be taken out of it. There should be no shoulds. And having said that, at the same time, I do believe that discipline is required. So, and to sit even though you don't want to sit is required, because it's the necessary, that discipline is going to be required in the moments that Rob was talking about, alluding before, is we give each other time before we respond, before we react. And the only way we're going to do that is to intervene on ourselves a little bit, intervene on our minds. And to do that, we need a spiritual muscle that's used to intervening on ourselves. That consciousness, it has to be accentuated and strengthened, and meditation is the best way to do that. So we're probably not going to talk about non-dualism here, but it's kind of everything in life is pretty non-dual and really pretty binary. It's both. It's and. And it shouldn't be a should. So it's everything.
I suppose for me, look, just some of these words that we're using, I think need to be dropped. You know,
Which words in particular?
Surrendering, and you know, it all sounds so spiritual. Do you know what I mean? To me, like it's simple. Like my being is being set up through my mental thought system. What is my mental thought system? It's from my past, and it's, you know, Eckhart Tolle talks about, you know, wanting, needing, must have, an expectation. There's all these ideas that my mind's putting forward, and it's disturbing my peace. I need to self-examine what are the things that I'm doing to myself to stop me from getting to this idea of peace. And I really need to have a very close examination of that, you know?
Yeah.
And I found that to be important for me. It's like tomography, to go to the spot that's bothering you and really have a very close look at it and expose that, you know? But then it's like trying to, I think we'll talk to Ned about it, it's just being patient with you as you're going down the track. Do you know what I mean?
But isn't that in itself a surrendering by being patient?
Yeah, I know. I just,
if you trust the process,
it's still a word though to me that like I just need to get patient, practical, you know, and like softly we go down the road, you know, and like blah blah blah. But then, you know, you could finish up dropping everything in the finish when you realise what I've done for the last 10 years is rubbish anyway, you know. And I think then you start laughing at that, you know. But yeah, just the spiritual discussion needs to be dropped to me.
The surrender discussion.
Well, yeah.
Even the word spirituality triggers something.
Yeah, I like for a younger person, like it's like all of a sudden there's all these rules attached to that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To a younger person, and to me that needs to be
Yeah.
let go
But that's
of.
the misconception in itself.
Yeah.
People get too caught up, as I said before, on what this term, and sorry to as
No.
the mediator to provide input here, but people get too caught up in what this term spirituality means, and it is, as I said before, it's simply looking inward. There's none of this extra stuff, which is
No,
where...
that's what it is for you, though, right? And it's not that for other people necessarily, right?
Yeah. But the core, we're talking about
the core essence of what
Well, who says?
spirituality is.
Who says? Who says? Because some people would say, no, the core is it's God's words, or spirituality is this, or you know.
Yeah.
But how do you get to God's words is typically through looking inward.
Well, no. Some people say reading the Bible is. You know, sort of, it'll always be opposite to whatever it is for you. To me, that's what spirituality is. Almost. It's not this. It's not this. It's not this. And therefore, well, what is it? Hard to define. You can't. But the minute you try and define it, people say, well, it's not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, spirituality's been wrapped up in a lot of different disguises over the ages. I just feel like religion is a really good example of that, where spirituality is wrapped up in robes and in practice and in church and in God's word, in Muhammad's word, in several different words. That's like religion. Then there's, they end up becoming a business where they educate and they collect money, and that's like religion. And spirituality, the core of that, I feel like we're saying we want to express to society and to undress all those disguises and robes from the term and say that spirituality is about looking inwards, and it's about understanding that the world is more than material, and it is more than what we see, and that there is unknowing. There is a huge set and pot of unknowing in our world, like most territory.
And is that safe, Nelson?
Saying
that unknown? Is that a safe place? A safe thing?
100%.
100%. So I agree. And how do we help people? Isn't that, because that's what spirituality is to me, is a belief in, a core belief, you use the word core belief, I like it. It's a core belief that there is actually some benevolent something out there that makes me safe. Even if I die, it was for a good reason. So I am safe, the world is a benevolent place, there is a little bit of shadow around, which is usually egos, getting in the way.
What's a shadow?
My core belief, and that's what spirituality is to me. That's a slightly different thing, but everyone's going to have a different definition.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
I feel like you're on the money there, though.
Yeah,
because
it
it's
is.
like that is it, and the world will unfold and be how it will be, and it is. We are protected because of everything is written. They say like the world will unfold, and you have agency in the world, but you also kind of don't. Like things will just happen, and that surrendering to that is where the surrender comes in, and understanding that the world is going to unfold before you, and you must be aware of the world and be aware of your ego and be disciplined in your spiritual practice, but you also don't have a lot of control. Surrendering to that force that has control, which we don't know of.
I love that.
And I might just add on to that with the belief that you don't know your life's destiny as well as the universe does. So therefore, if you surrender to it and let it guide you, it will guide you as it should, better than if you had any control in it. That would be the add-on to that, to give you additional context.
I like that too. Because if you live under that code, then life is relaxing and loving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you think, oh my God, I was born with this body. Did I have choice over that? Who knows, right? Some people believe you might. Your spirit before it was a human body, and the human body may have had. And to me, that spirit, and it's a loving consciousness, and it belongs to we're all connected to it. That's my belief, and that's my spirituality. And I try and live by that code, but I struggle with it because my ego at times doesn't want
Ego is fierce. And
fears and anger and all that shit.
Yeah. And in saying that, I feel like it should, like mindfulness and meditation should be a practice then. If that is the first principles, so like, fundamental core belief, like then everyone should, in essence, obviously not going to force anything upon people, but it should be a life's task to at least try to introspect, to at least try to
How can we replace the word should then? To
attempt. Please attempt.
Yeah. Well, because something I always say to myself along my path is that if I stay true to myself and the practice, the rest will work itself out. And that's something that's gotten me through my journeys, and I think will continue to. But as we've sort of said, these topics, they're all, meditation is such a personal journey, and this mindfulness practice is such a personal thing in that it's also selfish in that you take time on your own to go and sit there, but it is so selfless in the benefits that come from it. And so each person has such an individual perspective and view because they're all going through their own monkey minds and own issues and great things in life, positive things in life and negative things in life, and it's how we all deal with them. That's it.
I think just from my experience, like just over time, is sort of realising that my mind is always going to be disturbed by my ego, and that it then becomes not such a big problem because, it's my ego. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you can sort of be vigilant and be aware of it popping up, then it doesn't take hold as much.
Definitely.
And I think the other thing is too, that to me, we talk about compartmentalising, the mind, and you talk about percentage of time where I'd like to be in. You start to realise how much time you're consumed by something, and you
our
sort
phones, for instance.
Sorry?
Our phones.
Oh, well, yeah, like there might be something that you think is very important, very serious in your life, Like I used to talk to some people and it was very serious what they were telling me about. And I'd see them 6 months later and I said, how'd you finish it? And they couldn't even remember what I was talking about, but it was so serious to them at that moment,
Yeah.
But it's like, wow. The idea of, I want you to look at this, and you're looking at that, but I'm spending 2 minutes on this, and the rest of my time I'm thinking about this. Like, how can we switch that around? And it's like, I believe it's like trying to become aware of where my mind is taking me. And they talk about a diversionary tactic of the ego to take you away from the position that you're supposed to be heading in, And that was something that I thought about a bit, because it's the next, there's always another thought system that comes in that, that should have happened. Oh no, it shouldn't have, blah, blah, blah. And you're going backwards and forwards on certain issues. Whereas if you could sit back and see what's actually happening, you can almost laugh at it.
Yeah. Well, we've spoken about the ego a lot here. A question for the floor would be, do you think you need to develop a healthy ego first before you can sort of let go of it and remove it per se?
I want Ned to answer that one.
I think you do. I think I've made, spiritually bypassed potentially. I think I've got to develop a healthy ego. I mean, look, to an extent we all have to continue maybe building that healthy ego, but yeah, I've got some probably ego problems that I need to develop a healthy ego before I try and lose it, so I don't spiritually bypass and gloss over some things that I need to maybe emotionally get out and experience. So that's something that I'm currently engaging with, because I think I have chosen a more serious spiritual practice attempt without understanding myself better, and so I would agree with that. But then it's a bit tricky. How do I practice these things of self-delusion whilst also, but it's also not tricky. It's like, I can understand it, but just, I think it's pretty obvious. But curious, your guys.
I've got questions. I've got questions like, why do you think your ego wasn't pretty well developed? What
pretty well healthy? Well, am judgmental and critical of people. I notice I have quite negative thought loops. Like my dreams, my subconscious, there's quite a bit of fear involved. Like, not that I fully believe in the dream analysis, but like my dreams are generally very self-conscious, judgmental, anxious, scared. But in every day, I notice it popping up.
All the way ever since you were a little boy?
Maybe since probably like 13. I think high school was quite. I was stuck in fear mode, trying to adapt socially, and wasn't really connecting with myself, or maybe letting emotions come up. I was suppressing them potentially, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just quite in fear state a lot of time.
I understand. So helping others then, who had a similar situation to you, how would you help them? What would you say? Now I'm playing the role of model.
Yeah, you went crazy.
Yeah, I would say learn to create a healthy ego, whether that's if you have problems through therapy and through being vulnerable. Would you?
Yeah.
I haven't really done therapy, but I would recommend it. I think that's a good way of exploring maybe problems you might have. Right? But then any practice that you can learn to be with yourself. Meditation, but also being around people that really, friends that encourage you to be who you are too. So I think it's pretty simple, my perspective in that sense. Things you enjoy, people you enjoy being around, and just being honest, courageously honest with yourself in a loving environment. But what do you guys? I mean, I'm 27.
No, I love that.
Yeah, and alongside that, the path of meditation is really useful in coming in.
Yeah. Because I've got the opposite going on, right?
Right.
I've got an inflated ego that doesn't think it needs any help at all, but it sure does, right? Because I've still got, here I am at 74, and I get angry, I get reactive, and I get punchy even, you know, I go, whoa, Tim, whoa.
For someone so long on the path, I'm surprised to hear that.
I know. And my wife says, darling, you are not doing enough work.
Yeah.
You need to actually heal a few wounds from. I come from a large family growing up. I'm in a loving family, and my father was dead 10 years. He had a strong anger, and he had actually a bit of post-traumatic stress from the war years and stuff. And so he role modelled, in a bad way, how you can get explosive, because it's in some ways anger is. There's nothing wrong with anger. It's how you express the anger that's wrong. I mean, even Christ got angry in the temple, apparently. He said to the really bad merchants, get out, get out, and even pushed over stalls. Oh my God, apparently. I mean, who knows, because the Bibles were written 200 years after Christ, so I don't know if that really happened, but I think anger's good. And I think a healthy ego has a little bit of anger in it to defend itself if it is right. But that's where discernment comes in, and wisdom requires a whole lot of other things overlaid on it. So ego, I think a healthy ego is required, and it needs to be healed all the way through life. It needs to be befriended by consciousness, which is loving and gentle, and goes, ego, you are just overdoing the show. You know, I think.
I might just quickly add in there, onto that point of developing a healthy ego. I don't really have a proof of concept, like professionally with my career, where I've established myself, and I think a lack of, you have to develop that, like proof of concept, right? Achieving things in a way develops that, and I think I've struggled with lack there a bit. But on the anger, I have all these emotions. I have anger, right, and I want to express it, but I have a lot of self-doubt after I use it. Was that in the right spot? So I want to freely use it and accept the consequences and just grow from that and just put myself out there, say stupid shit, whatever, accept judgment and just evolve from that. But I cripple myself with doubt around that. But that's it. Inject Tim's blood in me and just see what happens.
I suppose I struggle with this idea of a healthy ego. Like a healthy ego, I just, don't know what that means actually. It's almost like I'm trying to create something, when in actual fact I need to let it go. Do you know what I mean? And so the concept of a healthy ego concerns me a little bit. I need to spend more time on getting this other thing, rather than my healthy ego or the ego type of thing. I've got to get away from my ego. I can see a resting position over here. I can see a very busy position over here. So somehow I need to change direction here. It's almost tacking in a boat or something. You know, I need to go that way rather than this way.
Yeah.
Even here your word, the achievement. Achievement is like, my ego's happy now. I'm stronger. I feel stronger about myself. Where over here, I'm strong already. I have to recognise my strength already, you know. So that to me is like a focus. I need to watch my focus to get away from my ego more than anything. I suppose the other thing too for me was trying to see what works for me. And to me, relationships work. And to me, it's a bit like this. Even why are we doing this, you know, is an egoic thing as well. Like in City Yoga, the idea of purity of intent, the pureness of actually the intention, or the pureness when I'm actually speaking to you, that the other person recognises it, you know, and then all of a sudden it grows a little bit, and then you can add on from that position, you know. So to me, I found that pureness something that actually works, you know, and I need to expand on that more if I can, you know. But that also goes back to speaking correctly and caring, you know.
Yeah. I would say I align with you in that I personally think you don't need to develop a healthy ego before letting it go. I think the ego serves truly not much purpose in society, and in a way, it can almost purify and become healthy through the practice of letting it go. On that journey of letting it go, it in itself is making it more healthy and more pure, so that when it's gone, it was already there. But I will also note, it is 1:35.
I know, I'm good for another 15 minutes or so.
Sure.
And Nelson's got to jump in.
Yeah. I just thought you're a man by the book. I better let you know, or you might punch me. You talk of anger.
You saw me on the edge of my seat. Yeah, it's really funny. I agree with a lot of what has been said, but I feel like our relationship with our ego in our modern time is something that needs to be tamed. And I heard the analogy the other day of taming the tiger. And it's almost a fact that we have a relationship with our ego, and you are chained to this tiger that is wild. You must, in essence, feed that thing and take care of this tiger, and you must raise this tiger because you are chained to it. And in essence, the tiger is not there and is an illusion, but we have this relationship with our ego. Every single person does, and you need to be able to, have this tiger that you can tame and talk to and have a good relationship. And it's good having relationships with other people who are aware of their tiger, because then you can talk about it, and it makes it more chill and more you able to exist with this tiger in a better mode throughout the world. But you don't take care of the tiger's going to go run wild. It's going to bite people. It's going to bite you. It's going to drag you around all day.
I love all this. This conversation, I think, goes to the very heart of, because if we don't think we've got an ego, I think we're kidding ourselves.
Yeah.
And of course we've got an ego, and whether it's healthy or unhealthy, to Rob's point, really is not the point. The point is, are you at friends with it, and do you relax on it, and are you aware of it? Because if you're aware of it and you're conscious of it, you can then work on it and befriend it and have it be the tame
work with it
and work for you rather than against you. And I think that's the growth edge for me still, and I think it's the growth edge for all of us as we go through life. It doesn't stop when you get to 30 or 40 or 50 or 60. It keeps on. You need to work with it and educate it, and we need to be continual learners no matter what ages we are, and come from this loving place. And to that end, because I need to go back and love my darling wife, I'm going to have to jump from this conversation. But can I suggest we continue the conversation? And if your readers and listeners and watchers on YouTube and stuff are interested in more of us, I'm sure, and we can come back into the conversation.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment, let us know what you think, and whether you want to come and join us and be in my conversation, because I think we're all learning from each other, and arguing with each other helps learn from each other.
It actually, can I ask one personal question
Please.
that it stems from that, and I had written down before coming here. I wanted to know your opinion on, what role does one have in the community who is a meditator? Do you feel obliged and compelled to teach people this beautiful practice and help people the way it's maybe helped you, or do you think that it is something that you do in your own time and people will come to it in their own space?
You're asking me, but I think actually Rob is better equipped, because
I was asking both of you, really.
Okay, well, I mean, because we both came into a spiritual practice. I think Rob says it comes in and out of it a bit. This Siddha yoga, which is a spiritual tradition, and it suggests that to be a good teacher, you've got to be doing the discipline, the sadhana, the work yourself. And I'm not trying to be judgmental on myself, but I'm not great at it, because, as I said, I come in and out of it a bit. And I'm disciplined for a few weeks, and then I lose the discipline. And I think I've got to be careful that I don't want to be a teacher, because that would then help my own practice, because I would have to continue to stay on track to be a good teacher. And I don't want to use that as an excuse to meditate, because I know I need to meditate. So I haven't really answered the question very well.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, mate.
No, please. Maybe for the next time.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, I need to, but I'd really love to hear how you answer it, because I fluffed that answer.
Beautiful.
I try to remember what the question was there.
It's just that
Yeah, I know.
You're meditating.
I've got the thing, yeah. No, look, I just, look, I think you answered it before, like, it's a matter of getting out of the road, and then, if it happens, it happens. But I mean, the thing is, I think there's too much in the spiritual world of saving somebody instead of saving yourself. Concentrate on yourself and understand the whole principle of self within you. Nothing to do with anybody else, because then you'll start seeing people exactly as they should be seen, right? And then you can sort of relax more. You're then less critical. Like, I used to struggle with the word loving unconditionally. I could not get my head around loving unconditionally. So, but as I've studied quite a fair bit, I could start to see that if I saw people in this light, like I said before, rather than this light, then I can relax. I could be softer and gentler around them, and in doing so, I'm doing that back to myself. And so, is that the way of doing it? I start to see them correctly, and all I have to worry about is my position. And that way I can then speak to people again differently, but it's then the connection. It's about, I think, more so, if people respond to you, you know you must be doing something right. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if they're not responding to you, I need to soften somehow. To me, the idea of softening was quite important. I think women have got it, the idea of, softer, gentler, kinder, something I've sort of rejected for a long time, but I can see that it works. So why not go that direction, So I suppose that's what I find, but worrying about what's happening for everybody else. If it happens, good, but I'm not saying it's the be-all and end-all of going in that direction. Like, to me, it's concentrate on your own position. I remember a word was concentrate to radiate, and sort of, wow, like, this is what I need to do,
I like that.
I agree.
That's good
Yeah.
shit.
Awesome.
I like
Well,
that.
thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Thank you,
gents.
guys.
Thank you. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
I look forward to actually staying connected, and I look forward to
100%.
if you and the audience would like to meet my darling wife Angela. She would love to come in one and talk.
Beautiful.
I think because sharing of ourselves is important to help in any way we can.
Mhm.
So that sort of answers your question.
Yeah.
If you feel they're wanting that from you, then that's your gift, and you're very good at it, and you've got a loving nature, and that comes through the way you led us into meditation before this, and the way you brought us out of meditation. So clearly you've got a gift and to be able to do that, and so share that.
Thank you.
And I invite everybody on the channel to share their gifts with everybody, because to me that's what love is too, don't you think? It's we're so blessed in some way. I'm so full of gratitude that we were all able to do these sort of things together, and to be able to spread that. It's just wonderful.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
thank
it
you.
really is.
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you, gents. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you. You've got to stay, right? You've got to stay.
Oh, George.
And thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Georgie.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
That word spirit to me is consciousness.